Hello, welcome to Pete's Garden. It's been a while, and that's because I've been working on the election, and then I was ill after that and all that, so I've been recovering from that. So I will be back to posting fairly regularly again from now on. But I thought it's time for a July garden update. So before we get to that, if you're new, click subscribe. And click like and share and all that stuff would be very much appreciated, and give me your opinions in the comments box below, and thanks very much, and roll titles. So starting in the container area at the end, these are just some French bean plants. I got through the post. They're not even dwarf French bean ones, they're meant to be climbing ones. These were spares, so I've put some climbing ones either side of the greenhouse, and these are just they're not going to climb, they're just going to come out and trail out across here, and you do get a bit of a slightly less of a crop that way, but because the bees, it's a bit harder for the bees to get in, but I'm not too bothered. I think it looks quite decorative, and I'll put it in the corner of either this patio here or the one at the end at some point. With everything that I've been doing towards the election, or during the election and afterwards, and being ill as well, there's been a lot of stuff that was growing in the greenhouse, and I just haven't had the time to put it out. Like this stuff down here, this is echinacea and things like that, that will go in the perennial border at some point, and as you can see there's weeds in there as well. A lot of stuff to catch up on. The leeks as well down there, they're going quite good actually. And they'll go out at some point. I am sort of starting to recover day by day, a little bit here and there, the stuff that should have happened during the election period. These are dwarf runner bean plants. You can see they've been nibbled a bit, but they're fine really, and they'll end up being like these. Some geraniums, so a lot of this stuff, you know, marigolds, night scented stock. Let me just smell these. Yeah, they do smell, not massively, but they do smell. And a lot of this stuff needs reorganising, but there we are. These are just some spare onions. I've got some red onion seedlings from the garden centre, and I'll show you those out in the ground in a minute. And these are the ones I didn't have space for, and they obviously won't bulb up or anything, but anything I get from them is a spare. This is stuff is, you know, as you can see, is dead now and practically, but there we are, as are these spare broad bean plants. I didn't need them in the end actually, because the ones that are out there in the open ground are doing okay, not brilliantly, but they're okay. Here's some more echinacea and weeds. Chicory, as you can see, that needs to go out. It looks like it's dying off or something, but actually I'll take those, when I plant them out, I'll take those leaves off, and these two should perk up a bit. Same with the lettuces that are there. These cauliflowers, you can see they've kind of gone really. And the stuff on here, this is lemon balm. Some of this stuff I can't exactly remember what it is rather. Eryngium, and there's some things like achillea down there. A lot of this stuff is very, very salvageable, including those Rudbeckia, and they still okay, they haven't gone in when they should have done, but actually they'll be salvageable. Some rosemary cuttings there, some pot leeks as well. There we are. All that stuff, and antirrhinums. Now, antirrhinums, I have found they do actually recover pretty well once you put them in. And as I say, we're just in the process of putting loads of stuff in that should have gone in a while ago. Potatoes, looking quite good. We had a couple of pots worth of potatoes the other day and they produced quite well. This one hasn't been topped up as much as it should have been, but I'm just going to leave it now. And the rest of these, you know, as you can see, they're looking okay. They're looking alright. Climbing French beans. Now you wouldn't have thought this system would work, and I do think maybe the string should be tighter, but actually I've seen this type of system work quite well. So, and you know, they're looking okay. In the greenhouse, I've had to do a lot of side shooting today that hadn't been done for the last couple of months, but they're looking okay. They're looking recoverable. So this is all of this is a recovery operation, really. Some cucumber plants down there, which I'm going to, when they get really big, I'm going to tie them up to that pole there. Probably there are other ways of doing it, but I'm not doing them. Some soya beans which haven't gone in yet down there, parsnips, and either side of them are some pepper plants. There's one, looks like it's got something disease on it, but it's not, it's just a bit of dirt. And so there are pepper plants all along here, but you can't exactly see in between the weeds, but they actually are really growing really quite well. I'm quite pleased with them. This is a melon, and it's growing okay. As I say, those soybean things need to go out somewhere. Chili peppers, my first one that I've just noticed coming along there. Quite happy with that. Aubergine plants, beautiful looking little flower on there. Some more flowers on the, there's another one, can you see that there? Yeah, a few flowers on the chili pepper plants. And this one, there was one, well, you can see there, something happened to it, I think something urinated on it, and this needs to go in there to replace it, so that's just another little thing to do. There's a gherkin plant coming out there that I'm going to leave trail across. I do know if I leave these things trailing across, again they don't harvest quite as much, but that's okay. You know, and I will find a way of supporting them in the end. There's actually some more French beans down here, but I'm not sure if you can entirely see them. Some basil, which had been, again, left a bit too long before it was put out, but it's going okay now. It was put out just yesterday, but they're looking not too bad and it'll come back. A lot of this needs side shooting as well, but we've got at least some flowers on there. Some marigolds. I've put some marigolds in here somewhere, and some of them did die off instantly because they didn't like being transplanted, but some of them haven't, so there we are. There we go. And so because I haven't had the chance to get over to the allotment in a long time, and I was going to spend a lot of time preparing a squash bed and a cucumber bed there, and I haven't done that, I have put various different squash and cucumber, courgette plants and everything in amongst here, in amongst all the other tomato plants. Now here I would be supporting the tomato plants just like I am up there, except I don't have very many bean canes. I don't particularly want to get loads because you have to find somewhere to store them, and I quite like not having very many storage places in the garden, and I don't own a car and I can't drive, so rather than go about trying to get bean canes and things like that, actually an allotment I used to share, the guy I shared them with had quite a really nice looking bed where he'd just let the tomatoes trail across, and again you get a bit less crop that way, but it's a hell of a lot easier. So I'm leaving it like that. Some of them, again, because I'd left them too long before putting them in and things, had got some problems with them, so I've taken a lot of leaves off that were really bad to help them recover. These things, although they've got a little bit of powdery mildew, which I will deal with by putting some things like Epsom salts on, they've actually recovered really quite well from being treated really badly and left in pots for a long time. The strawberries have been doing brilliantly, have been doing really well, and they're just coming to the end of their harvest period. Going over to the perennial bed, we've got these digitalis. I won't say what those white marks are, but they're perfectly, they're not a disease or anything. They're digitalis, looking perfectly good. Now, this is definitely something that I've planted. It's not a weed or anything, but what happened was, I reckon, I planted it a couple of years ago. It didn't come through in the first year, so then I planted this Diascia in its place, and now this year it's come through, but I can't remember what it is. So if someone could enlighten me in the comments box below, that would be really good. We've got some weeds in there. Diascia is looking really good, and that has exploded, and I actually quite like this, the way it's accidentally come up like this. Those things, I can't remember again what they're called. I think they're called Ixis or something. These things are, I think they're beautiful, certainly when they sort of grow properly up. And these things I'm quite happy to leave them to run to seed. They're proper bulbs, and you know, there we are. The hyacinths there, you can see. Obviously they're late winter, early spring flowering, and I just leave them to die off and grow back the next year. Some people I know cut the foliage off, but actually you're damaging the plant in the long run if you do that. Now this thing, again, I can't remember what it is. I remember what this is, obviously. This is the rose bush, and it has been cut back substantially, that's why it's so bare. It needed that because it had a good flowering of plenty of flowers a couple of months ago, as did the one next to it. So, but that's fine, they're in a bit of a shade area, and they'll come back to life in a couple of months in terms of their flowering. I bought some ground cover plants just because I want them to grow up and cover these what's a massive hand there, cover these massive hands, no, cover these tree stumps. So there we are. What else is there? Obviously the gladioli. I've got a few of those trumpeted around the perennial bed just to give a bit of synchronicity. Now again, the same thing has happened here, I think, has happened up there, because I think this didn't come through the first year at all, and then I put this, whatever this is, it looks like parsley. Can't be parsley, I wouldn't put parsley in there, but whatever it is, I put it in over the top, and this thing's come through. And of course we've got this sort of weed here, but I'm leaving it because I quite like the colouring at the moment. Nasturtiums, they've just popped up. They just pop up where they like anyway. They're not obscuring anything at the moment because, yeah, they're not obscuring anything, so I just leave them. Gladioli again. Diascia. I like these heathers. You can't, in the context of a summer garden, obviously you can't really see them very well, but when everything else has died back in winter, they show up really well. Digitalis again, foxgloves, oh, I can't remember what these are called, these things, but they're, let's have a look. Aquilegia, there we are. They're still small things, but they have trebled in size since I put them in a few months ago, so there's hope yet. Potentilla there, that's looking much prouder and much bolder than it did last year, so I like that. Solidago, now this becomes the thing called goldenrod. That's what it becomes. Americans call it goldenrod anyway, so that should be quite spectacular, I would have thought. Echinacea. It's taken a while, but it's got there. There we go. Eryngium again. Obviously there will come a time when all of these are equally blue. It seems to start with the middle ones. There we are, have a look at that. Now this is, it's coming towards the end of its flowering, but this is Enothera. This has been 2 years in the making in the greenhouse, and because it's required such a sensitive, temperature sensitive start, then when this winter comes and it's out in the ground here, I don't know if it's going to survive. But I'm going to leave it out here anyway, because I want to find out. And if it dies off, well, we had it for 1 year and it looked really beautiful, so who cares? This is the the red hot poker, the Nymphophea, and it's the first year that it's flowered, and I wish I'd got some video of it while it was flowering, because it looked absolutely beautiful, but I think it looks quite majestic even as it is, and the birds like it as well. So there we are. And obviously gladioli is next to it, gladioli plural. Eryngium again. These balls seem smaller than they were last year. I don't know why, but I quite like that actually. Oxeye daisy. There we are. More echinacea, and there's some more gladiolis, and they'll be coming out, I would have thought, around August, September time. I find that most of the things that you know, that you plant this year, the perennial plants anyway, they take a bit longer to flower than the plants that are already established, which is fair enough, I suppose. The exception to that being this thing here, the allium flower, which I only planted in January, and it was the first thing to flower out of the whole bed. If you go onto my Instagram, which I'll put the link to in the description box below, then you'll see, I think, yeah, you will see a rather beautiful picture of that, even though I say so myself. And there's some more foxgloves there, with weeds, well, there we are. There is the perennial bed. And so we'll just come over here to the other container area. There's the hanging baskets. I forget what these things are called now. I've got helichrysum. This thing, there's the helichrysum flower buds. Ivy geranium and Wisley vanilla, which smells exactly as it suggests of vanilla. And these are some more potato beds, and again this area needs reorganising. We've got the pink geraniums, we've got the gazanias which need to come out from under these shadows that I'll need to work out where to put them. There's a begonia hiding there, and some antirrhinums. More of the same sort of thing here, except we've got the herbs as well, like the thyme and the lemon balm, and there's another lemon balm over there, rosemary, and some other things which I've forgotten. This is how long I've been. Oh, lavender, of course, and some salad leaves which ran to seed. Lamb's lettuce, which we need to use, that's good, I needed that reminder, and some mint. There we are, which is now quite small leaved mint, but it actually, woof, well, it smells lovely, that. I've put some broccoli in for winter. I don't know why that one's much smaller than the others, but I'm sure it will catch up. And that'll be ready about December time. You can see we had a row of lettuce there, which is now almost done. Chard, which I always think, if you look at the stems, they look rather colourful. I don't know if you can see those properly. And another row of lettuces there, but these are the tighter, crunchier lettuces. 2 rows of celery, and we've got another few bits of celery, quite a few bits of celery actually. And what will happen is, when this row comes out, and that row eventually comes out, and that the rest of that row does, we'll fill up the rest of this with celery, and then it'll be all wintry things. Including this row of celeriac. There we are. Now, you can see that with a couple of rows of savoys we've got here, the pigeons have been eating some of them. Well, I'm going to put some sticks down, and they should recover. You know, they should recover. Obviously, these are savoys which are growing too close together anyway, the purpose being we don't need to put them in their final positions yet, so there's no point in wasting space. Just have them growing too close together like this, and then when we've got the space, we'll spread them out a bit. And frankly, we've got 13 in between these 2 rows, with the idea that we knew that some of them would probably be packed, and if we end up with 6 or 8, that's great, that's what we want. Red onions, these are the same ones that were in the pots that I showed you at the start, and I don't know if you can see, but they're really starting to bulk up, which, given that I put them in only about 2.5, 3 months ago, I'm really quite pleased with. And we'll end up with quite a few spicy red onions. These are cabbages that are not for winter, they're for summertime. Again, a little bit eaten, and I'll have to put some sticks down, but that's fine. We're still going to get plenty of cabbage from that. So, broad beans. This is very sort of miscellaneous bed. I've realised there was sort of mishmash. We've got we've got quite a few. These are from my neighbour Ian. So thank you, Ian. We've got quite a few pods coming. We did get an attack of aphids, and we've still got a few bits. But as Ian told me, if you just pinch out the growing tips like I did when they were quite early, then that puts the aphids off. Garlic, which as you can see is just about ready to pick. We'll probably pick that in the next couple of weeks, couple of days rather. I think it's got a little bit of rust on it. That's fine. Don't really care. They look quite bulbous. And these onions, which along with the garlic, I put in October, November time last year. Now I think that in May we had some really unseasonably high winds, and as you can see we left it to get weedy anyway. And I think that's what bent all these things over far too early. And so I think although they have bulked up, I think that's why they're still green. I don't really want to pick them when they're so green, so I am going to leave them a bit longer, just to see if they do get sort of get their normal colour. And if they don't, then I'll pick them anyway, and we'll try and use them as normal. Final bed for now. The pyracantha, it's got some lovely berries forming on it. The sunflowers are doing quite well. I'm quite happy with that one. By the end of the month it'll probably be this height. And I'm managing to grow some peas and sweet peas and things up against them with varying degrees of success. Some nasturtiums have sprung up, trailing ones, and they have sort of ruined some of the things around here, so I need to sort all that out, but I don't quite know what to do with that yet. Suggestions in the comments box below. The cornflowers I'm really happy with. I hadn't realised how easy it is to grow cornflowers, and now I know I'll probably be growing just a whole bed of cornflowers next year, because it's really easy. You literally just mix the seeds in together and spread them, and that's it. We've got some sweet peas down there. I don't know if you can quite see those. Cosmos, I'm really happy with the cosmos. Now we did try some larkspur around here, and where do you see it? It's not there. It's not there. So it's been shrouded out by something, but it's a bit of a shame. But there we go. Cosmos, as you can see, I'm really happy with. Particularly as the taller varieties mostly, and I prefer those. We've got somewhere in here I've managed to secrete some of the dwarf runner beans and dwarf French beans, so we might see some of those. Ranunculus, I think that's ranunculus. There we go. This needs deadheading, a lot of this, but we'll get round to that. Another sunflower coming through there. I've tried to have, well, I've planted sunflowers against each of these canes, and if I don't get up all of them, that's fine, but as long as I get them mostly along the back here, that's fine. some of these sweet peas I think are really pretty. I don't, you know, never wanted to grow them like the professional growers do, but just to grow them to look at and get some ones for the vase inside is really good, and we've had plenty in the vase, so there's a few gaps here and I'll fill those in, but you know, I think it's looking pretty good so far. There's a mixture of different types of cornflowers there. Some of the Californian poppies, I've not planted them on purpose ever, but I let them grow up occasionally, but I'll probably take them out soon because they're, you know, running to seed. Borage, it looks good and you can eat it. There we are, and it's a good thing to put in blocks of ice. Good going drinks and things. Doesn't really taste of anything, but apparently it's quite good for you. Another sunflower, and finishing off with some dead sweet peas at the back I've just noticed that need to come out, but there we are. I think we've got quite a bit of colour in there. So that's it for this episode of Pete's Garden. If you're new, as I said at the start, if you're new, click subscribe. If you could like, comment and share and all that stuff, that'd be good stuff, much appreciated. And I'll be back with plenty of new stuff from the garden and the allotment over the next few weeks. Bye for now.